Well, this is number 3 in a series of movies describing how we might improve drafting in this particular design, make life a little easier. To recap, we've decided that if you draw a polyline around an area and hatch it, that makes life a lot easier than it does trying to draw individual flagstone pavers here. But clearly the designer wants to have people exiting out onto a paved area, and he wants the colour of these flagstones here to be colour 47. So how can we simulate something like you see in this zone rather than and use just hatching to do that? Well, for starters, if we take the polyline around this area and we've established the same colour has been used in the back patio, colour 147, and we say, yep, it is filled, and we'll unselect all. We get some way towards achieving this, but I think if we take the hatching itself and set a colour, and I've tried colour 254, so we're setting the colour of the hatching entity to 254. Now, to my eye, that indicating flagstone paving there in the lower part of the design matches reasonably well what you see here. So I would do that on the same area there and then follow the same technique as we used earlier to define a polyline around this paved area, including arcs in the polyline, and another polyline up here to define that area, and then we would have paving sorted reasonably well, and the file size would be a lot smaller than it currently is because each one of these individual polylines takes up space in the drawing file, whereas hatching is just a single entry into the database. I draw your attention also to the fact that we used a gradient or a spot to fill the colour in the water area, the ornamental pool or the swimming pool, and the pooling system that runs through it, that circulates through it. And what we've done is again draw a polyline, but if you come down through here, we've applied a gradient, and the type of gradient here is a point. If I change that from point to linear, you can see that, I hope you can see that the gradient runs, it's lighter on the right and works to darker on the left, but I quite like the point arrangement. So what we've done is make the centre of the water, the pool, a little darker, and that's done by extending the gradient length to 90. If I brought that back to say 15%, can you see we just get a spot of darkness in the middle of the water, which doesn't look at all realistic. So I change that one back and I'll unselect all, and we've done exactly the same over here to try and put some colour on the lawned area. So if we follow through, fix up our patching, do it through there, all of the symbols used in the design, of course, apart from ones like this, which is an existing tree symbol, have been tagged. So if I went to gCADPlus, show symbols with names, you can see all of the symbols get highlighted throughout the drawing. So I'd be confident now to use the tool to generate the plant schedule from that. So we can go gCADPlus, plant schedule. I'll just generate the standard one rather than worry about the custom one. So we'll set a height of say 200 units. It's quite arbitrary because you can always scale this later. Text type, I typed, if we come down here, can you see I've made a typo? I've put a quote there, so I need to redo that. 200 and enter. Now the prompt is first point and second point, and whatever the current text style is, it'll be used to draw the plant schedule, and all the counts are there. So that design, I hope you can see, can be simplified a little, made easier to work with, and yet still use all of the smarts in gCADPlus.